Although my 2-year-old is in a phase now where she will just go and throw them away.
Right.
No,
Look me dead in the eye and go,
It's a test.
God.
I'm like,
It's a test.
Who's winning?
she's winning. I am drinking.
Oh, hello. I'm Nick Grimshaw.
And I'm Angela Hartnett.
And we are here for Dish, of
Here we
course,
do.
as we always are. We have a very special one for you today, a very fun one, with actress, star of The Gentleman, the one and only Kaya Scodelario. Hi, Kaya. Welcome to
Thank
Dish.
you. I am
Welcome.
unbelievably excited.
Oh my God,
This
good.
is the best day of my life.
Really? Not to big it up.
Pasta, alcohol, it's great.
It's
Things
win-win.
are good.
That's
Yeah.
pressure, isn't
Yeah.
it?
The pressure is on.
Oh my God.
Well, cheers and welcome.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Welcome. Congrats.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
It is the biggest table.
It's very good.
Is it
You
good?
made it?
I made it. I made a
gorgeous.
whiskey sour.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Because we thought that was appropriate we thought it was quite Susie Glass.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
Susie Glass.
Very Susie Glass.
Gentlemanly.
You're here to talk about The Gentleman, which is Guy Ritchie's new huge success, which I've seen everywhere. I even saw it on the news,
Yeah,
which made
bizarre.
me think, like, okay, like the telly show
Mainstream.
being on the
Yeah.
news. It was like, and
Yeah.
next up, it's like, is this the news?
But also, we watch the news now. How grown up
Yeah,
are we?
no, we're very grown up. We're very grown up. We're very grown up. But we felt like this was, a Susie Glass
Yes,
beverage,
for
which is
sure.
yours.
It is. I adore whiskey. I'm a big fan of whiskeys and ice. That's the one thing I love about America, that you'll get ice in
they
your
do
drink
like ice.
everywhere you go.
True.
We've got to fix that over
And there
here.
seemed to be a lot of whiskey drinking in The Gentleman.
A lot of
I
whiskey
mean,
drinking in The
every time
Gentleman.
there was a chat about who you guys were going to knock off next, there
Yeah.
was a whiskey in someone's hand.
Yeah, whiskey.
There's a lot of whiskey.
A lot of
And
drinking.
it was
Leathers, yeah.
real whiskey.
Was it? You see, I
Yeah.
genuinely thought it was real whiskey.
Yeah, it was.
Purely
Guy's
because I think
very-
Guy Ritchie wouldn't mess around with that.
No, he was very
Yeah.
insistent that we have very good, expensive, yummy whiskey on set.
And the wine in there, because you had some incredible wines. Were they the real wines?
They were the real wines.
Oh
Wow.
my God. I
Come
think
on,
some of
Guy.
those wines were more expensive than the movie.
Well, I made friends with the props guy immediately.
Did you?
I was
Well
like,
done.
Yeah, me and him were tight.
Yeah,
On
I
wrap.
bet. Smart
And
move,
it's very
Susie.
On wrap, everyone knew which truck to go to in the car park. And talk
Wait,
about it.
Guy making you have real whiskey that must be a rarity
It was
in...
poured the real whiskey,
Right.
and on wrap is when I would then drink
Yes.
the real whiskey.
Yeah.
And we took it really seriously. We were like, yeah, this is the world that we need to step into, and it's not a bad one to
Not a
enjoy,
bad
is
A
it?
real nice one.
And how did it come about, the role?
I auditioned.
Yeah.
I kind of had the email come through saying they want to make a TV show at The Gentleman. It was originally pitched as a TV show.
Oh, was it? Before
Yeah,
the
his
movie?
Guy's idea was for it to originally be a TV show. I think he really wanted to spend more time with his characters.
Yeah.
And that's what I love and what I've missed about doing TV.
Sure.
And so it came through and I read the log line and it said something like, she's a boss and she's a badass. And I was like, yes, I want to do
fun
that.
character.
Yeah.
I thought, I bet when you got that through, that must have been a...
It was really, and
dream
I
role to
fought
do.
for it really hard.
Yeah.
I'm normally quite, afraid of putting myself out there and kind of sending notes to the director or anything like that. But I really knew I could do a good job with it, and I knew that I loved her. I love that she is already a woman when you meet her. There's no kind of coming of age. She's already at the top of her game. She's good at what she does. She's intelligent and she's unapologetic about it.
Because it changed slightly having watched the movie.
Yeah.
That suddenly one of the two main characters, obviously yourself and your partner, but you didn't really have a female main protagonist in the movie, did you?
Yeah.
So you've taken that role, which I think is brilliant.
It was important to me. And
Yeah.
when I kind of got the part, I was sent the first 2 episodes and I had a phone call with the writers and said, okay, this is great so far, but I need assurance that she'll continue to be
Yes.
this great. I don't want it to drop off. I don't
Yeah.
want it to suddenly become a love interest and nothing else. Like I really felt like it would be beneficial to Guy to bring that into his universe.
Yeah.
And it's done well. It's exciting and it kind of breaks the rules that it has to be a male dominated.
Because you're right, it
world.
wouldn't have worked if suddenly you became the
Yeah.
the less dominant person,
No.
and
And
the
like,
one was
growing
yes.
up in North London,
Yeah.
the gangsters that I was most scared of were the women.
Yeah.
My friends' mums were the ones that I was terrified of.
I think we need
But-
to pause on the gangsters she knew. Which
Yeah.
Shall we just step back?
No, not like up there, but
High up the chain.
higher. But a few of the families were dodgy,
Yeah,
should we say. And the dads were the ones that would go out and work. But the mums were the ones you didn't mess with.
You didn't
Yeah,
mess
yeah,
with.
yeah.
It's that
They
Angie
knew
in the
that-
kitchen down
yeah,
Marano.
exactly.
I'm not- no,
She's
I'm
the
going
one.
in the kitchen.
The godmother. They call her the Griselda of Mayfair. I heard that you love carbs.
I love carbs.
So we were like,
I love carbs.
Love carbs.
Bread.
So we're doing double carb today.
Amazing.
Sometimes we have like a salad.
No.
But today we're doing, it's a yummy one, but today we're doing pasta and we're doing a bread starter.
Oh, amazing. I couldn't be happier.
Groundbreakingly, this is the first garlic bread we've ever had on dish.
Really?
Which
Okay.
is obscene. 5 seasons
God.
in. So we're going to have a Hedgehog garlic bread. Which I believe is
I want to put my face in it.
You can. Please
Insane.
do. Please do. Tell us what we've got here, Ange. We've got Hedgehog garlic bread.
So the hedgehog effect is where you've cut the bread crisscross.
Uh-huh.
So you've got a lovely sourdough. Then you make like a garlic basil pesto in a way. So it's basil in there, garlic in there, Parmesan cheese,
Yes.
olive oil. Blend it all together with loads of butter.
Oh, I'm going to
Put
cry.
all that between the layers, and then put some more Parmesan, Taleggio cheese, and mozzarella.
Ah,
So
wow.
that feels
This
like
smells
a
good.
cheesy. Oh look, yeah, now it's molten-y, cheesy.
It feels so bad that you have to sit and watch us eat.
It's so bad, but so good. It's bad when it's something like this that's
my
like
God.
really fragrant.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. They had the Waitrose meal deal before.
Great
Yeah,
value.
great value.
Great value.
£5, you get a sandwich, a drink, and a side. As I said, this is our first ever garlic bread on dish,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. Are these the best cheeses to put in
That's what I was
Taleggio,
gonna ask. What's the good
mozzarella,
melty
Parmesan?
cheese? Yeah.
Are these the best ones to do?
There are other cheeses you can use, but
There
you
are.
want something that's stringy. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of great French ones, or anything soft that's going to sort of melt. But mozzarella is obviously a brilliant one. Taleggio is great because it's got full of flavour. Tom de Savoie, Comte, all those sort of anything. I think there's
Anything
a
really
good
melty.
blue cheese would work as well.
Oh yeah, blue
yeah.
cheese.
You could have a
would be
nice
good.
little combination.
I think that's a good thing to make if you've got to go to.
Impressive.
Well, yeah,
But also because people, if you go, oh, I'm bringing garlic bread, they'll just think you're going to just bring
Yeah.
a
Yes.
Shitty
And then you
garlic
turn
you
up with a
turn up
hedgehog.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why
Love
it'd be
it,
good.
babe.
it's taste sensation.
Taste sensation. Take it out.
You are an outstanding chef.
Yes, Claire.
Outstanding.
Outstanding's a big word,
That's
but
that's what was said. Outstanding chef.
That's word on the street.
Do you love cooking? Have you always loved
I
it?
love it. I love it. I'm not very good at like meditating or being quiet or being still. I need to feel busy and I need to feel like I'm using my hands and I love it. Especially I travel so much for work and I'm in hotels or I'm on set and the first thing I want to do when I come home is spend like 3 hours cooking with a glass of wine and a podcast on and
Yeah.
just I find it the most relaxing thing in the world. And I think part of my culture being Brazilian, the kitchen is the heart of the home and it's I love cooking for people. I love bringing people together for meals. I mean, I give me, sitting in the kitchen, eating a great meal and singing Spice Girls till 2 a.m. over a nightclub any day.
Yes,
That
yeah,
to me
agree.
is just heaven.
Agree.
So you've got a really fascinating background, Brazilian, brought up, Brazilian sort of household. Was
Yeah.
that what you ate as a child or was
Yeah.
there an Italian influence?
It was
or a-
predominantly
English?
Italian influenced Brazilian
Yeah.
food. So Brazil's
Right.
a country of immigrants, beautifully. It's got lots of different cultures
Yeah.
and the food really reflects that.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of spicy food in the north. You can have a lot of German influence in the
Yeah.
south. But my family were Italian in São Paulo, and there was a lot of Italian influence in the food
Yeah.
that we eat. So I grew up eating Milanese
lovely.
and lots of things like that. And I kind of only ate Brazilian food growing up. And it was interesting because I would go to friends' houses for sleepovers and they'd give me like fish fingers and chips at 6
You'd be
p.m.
like, "Ugh."
And I go, okay, when's dinner?
They're the ones that
Yeah.
she no longer associates with.
But I used to eat dinner at like 9 p.m. and
Yeah.
it would be rice and black bean stew and meat
Nice.
and like a full plate of food always.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of had a very healthy/unhealthy relationship with food in that I really like unhealthy food. I
Yeah.
really like good food. I want to feel comforted and at home and I kind of try and do that with my kids too. Like
Yeah.
they've always been raised eating whatever we're eating for dinner and eating
Yeah.
around the table and,
Yeah.
and things like that. I just think it's memories as well.
Yeah,
A dish
totally.
can take you back to your childhood or to a friend you once knew.
Yeah,
or a
totally.
great night in a restaurant. And yeah. Do you hate the word foodie? Is that something that gives you
Sort
the
of live. I can take it or leave it. I sort of think. I think your childhood probably. You're a lot younger than me, but it was probably a similar thing that it wasn't like your mum or your grandparents said we're foodies. They just had good food. And and it wasn't fancy food. They probably had the best food they
Yeah.
could afford.
Well, most of the dishes I
Yeah.
grew up on are the typical poor dishes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Feijoada is the leftovers from the rest of the week.
Sure.
That's the comfort food. That
Yeah.
When I go to Brazil, whoever I'm with, I take them to the service stations, and that's where we get lunch because that's the best food.
And what about your kids? Are they quite, because you've, carried that on with your kids, are they quite up for eating stuff and
100%.
trying everything?
My son will eat anything.
That's so good.
That is brilliant.
We were in Brazil and he had an Amazonian fried fish and he loved it. And I was like, Mummy, I'm like, no. You can't pop down to Waitrose and get an Amazonian fried fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe one day. But
Maybe one day.
They really enjoy food and I teach them to enjoy food. I try and keep it healthy for them, but I also... I let them have fun with food and they cook with me and it's one of my favourite.
But as you said, they eat with you.
They eat with me every night.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah, as you said, your mum did it with you and it doesn't matter what you're putting on the table. It's the idea
together,
of
it's the time.
socialising.
Although my 2-year-old is in a phase now where she will just go and throw the plate.
Right.
No,
Look me dead in the eye and go,
It's a test.
God.
I'm like,
Who's winning?
She's winning. I am drinking.
Now, we heard that you had a chef come over to your house to teach you how to use knives.
We have very good research.
Very good research.
We're outside your house.
Yes,
for that.
There's cameras everywhere. I played a chef in a Christmas movie that I did for Sky, and I got really excited about it. I was like, can I have someone come over and just make it look good? Because there's nothing worse than when you see an actor who clearly doesn't know how to pick up a cup or like a simple thing. They're playing a pianist and they're going...
Yeah, and it's like a different hand. Yeah.
So I just wanted to look skilled enough with those, because again, my cooking is home cooking. It's messy, it's not organised at all, and I wanted to sort of try and finesse some little things. And he was lovely. He just came over and we all made fresh pasta together and gnocchi and taught me some knife skills and it has really improved. Yeah,
fantastic.
Put your weight over it.
Nice.
But that was the best bit of research I've ever had to do for a job.
I bet. Brilliant. Did you have to do any for this, for the gentleman? Was there anything you had to... Did you have to like...
Golf.
Had
to golf scene and they were like, all right, we're going to take you for a golf lesson. I was like, there's no point. I'm going to be terrible. Just cut away from it. Use editing.
Just put someone else in.
And I
Nick Faldo, is he a golfer?
It.
Yeah.
I did like...
Get Nick Faldo in. Don't know if he's still around. That must be so good though, like when you get an acting job and you can like lean into
learn a
new skill.
And I actually ended up loving it. I got there on this golf course and it was just a bunch of old white men staring at me and I was like, okay, I'm going to do good.
Yeah.
I'm going to commit to this.
I'm going to win the Open.
And I did.
And you did.
Yeah. No, it was really, really fun. I enjoyed it because it's like an aggressive sport, but peaceful at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's alcohol at the end, so it's great.
Yeah, great. Great day out. When you did that, the drinks when you get to know each other before, had you met any of the cast before?
No one. It's the worst.
And how is that?
Oh my God, it's like the first day of school.
Yeah,
it's
really
horrible.
weird. Yeah.
You walk in and you're all on your best behaviour and you're all like, oh, hi, oh, this is so exciting. And then an hour later, you're all like, I love you so much. It's going to be great. No, it was sweet. I actually met Theo there for the first time and he walked in, he'd got off a flight from LA. And I was talking to Guy and Theo came over, so then he started talking to Guy and I grabbed a glass of champagne, handed it to Theo without looking at him. He drank it and I was like, oh, we're going to get on great.
Okay, good.
Like we immediately were sort of in sync with each other.
Yeah. I guess it's
nice.
quite weird though, isn't it? Like that first meeting, because you're going to be spending, hour upon hour and hour for months on end. How long were you shooting the show for?
8 months, I think.
So it's a long time. It's a big old time, isn't it, to just hang out with someone that's...
Yeah, but I vet everyone first.
Right, good.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, what sort of vetting?
I just make sure they're not an arsehole. I have a genuine no arsehole policy. I will not give my time to people that think they can behave like that anymore. Because I've met so many incredible actors and directors that don't behave like that, are kind, good people and also produce good work. So there's no excuse for it.
There's no need, is there?
There used to be, when I started out, it was like, oh, it's Jack the Lad behaviour, or it's because he's intense. And no, be a nice person, be respectful, be kind.
Yeah.
So I always check who I'm going to be working with and I make my decision on whether I do the job off of that, because I'm too long in the tooth, Nick. I can't be arsed.
You can't be doing
I don't want to be around bad energy.
Work all the time, no.
Yeah, and I'm too aggressive. I'll kick off. It's not good.
You can't be having a fight on set.
It's not good.
Do you know what I mean? It can't
I've been
be
lucky. I've had really good experiences in the industry, and I'm happy to say that I've never kind of worked with someone absolutely awful.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I think it's very old-fashioned, to behave like an arsehole.
It's very 90s.
It's very 90s, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it definitely happened. Because people always say to me, like, who have you interviewed that's horrible?
But that's all they ever want to know, and they never want to know who's nice.
No.
And it's like...
And I've never really interviewed anyone horrible.
No. What about when you interviewed me and I was about 15 and we were at an underage festival and I was really drunk and you were going, can you speak?
You were delightful. Delightful.
No, it was a lovely. But do you remember that? I can't remember
It was
what
like
it was. It was like in Vicky Park or something.
Yeah, it's like a Vicky Park thing. I think I went on. Yeah, I do remember that, and it was like a heady lineup of like end-ups.
Yes, it was so cringe.
Yeah, it was like very of the time.
But you are to me such a memory of my early career.
Oh, really?
Like, I love it. I feel like you're an honorary Skins cast member.
Oh my god! I did say I said
Yeah.
your name before, and Andrew said, "Wow, that just rolled off the tongue." I said, "I feel like I said it daily."
Been in each other's lives for years.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah,
I really,
yeah.
really said it. Yeah,
Yeah,
quite a
no,
lot.
genuinely, you kind of really encapsulate that time for me, and it's such a pleasure to see you still thriving and still doing.
Kaya!
No, it's true.
Same.
I really adore that. You were like a safe place for us.
Oh, that's
because
nice to hear.
Back then, there wasn't the same amount of safeguarding with young actors. There
Yeah.
wasn't anyone checking if we were okay. But whenever we worked with you, you were always kind and gentle and
that's
lovely
nice to
and
hear.
funny and talented. And that's enough arse licking
Kaya,
now.
that is
Go back
really
to
nice.
Yeah.
We'll start with that.
Now do me.
No, but you know what? I'm not joking. I'm not joking. When I did watch The Gentleman, I did have Kaya. And I think it's because we met, like, you know, when we were younger. And you remember that, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
you remember, like, the first people you meet when you're, like, new to the industry.
There's wine.
Oh, my God, there's wine and pasta. But I did think the
Thank
same.
you.
I always think that when I see you, like, I really know her.
Yeah.
But, like, I really don't, but I do. I think it's the age. I think you're right. Thanks, Ange. Did you hear that? I was nice.
I was nice.
I was nice. Wow, Ange.
Beautiful.
The pasta is here. So we have bucatini. Is this bucatini?
It's not. It's tagliatelle.
Tagliatelle. So we have tagliatelle with buttery, cavolo nero, anchovies, and pangrattato.
Yeah. It's pangrattato.
What's pangrattato?
So it's
Breadcrumbs.
basically breadcrumbs.
Ah.
You know how they
Crumbs.
breadcrumbs. They
Crumbs.
use up anything, and so any leftover bread they will basically roast off in a little bit of butter and olive oil. And I've also added some lemon rind to that, garlic,
Oh my God.
and some toasted hazelnuts. So it gives a lovely little crunch to the top of the pasta.
The crunch is good.
Yeah,
The crunch is
always
good. Now, the last time we had a pangrattato
Oh,
was with Florence Pugh.
oh yes.
So would you say a pangrattato is an actress-only dish?
Yes, we're never
An
doing it
actor
for
of a
anyone
certain level gets a
Definitely.
crumb.
Yes.
Gets a real crumb.
I don't do crumb for any old people.
No.
It's got to
Oh,
be
this is incredible.
This is really delicious. It is very buttery. Is it?
very buttery,
Butter.
very anchovy, and very garlicky. I sort of up the anchovy and the garlic in it as
I
well.
love garlic. I'll add 3 times
That's
the amount
fine.
of garlic to any recipe,
Same.
always.
There you go.
And butter.
And then we have a lovely white wine. So we have a Zeneto Villaflora,
Wow.
which is a Luganan wine from Veneto, which
Wow.
is fabulous.
So my dad, when I was born, bought a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
The year I was born.
Oh, very
And
nice.
saved it until I was 18.
Oh,
He
lovely.
died before I turned 18.
Oh.
And on my 18th, there was this beautiful moment where my mum bought out this bottle of wine. They were divorced. She hated him, but she still kept this
Kept it.
bottle of
Yeah,
wine.
yeah.
That's good.
Bought it out and I was crying. It was gorgeous. We opened it. It was it had gone. It was vinegar.
Not good.
So I'm going to do that for my kids, but I don't want to make the same mistake because it was quite traumatic.
That's a real roller coaster of a day.
Yeah,
really.
that-
A lot of
that's
emotions.
A lot of highs, lows, and
So
then.
you went through the divorce and back and everything. on that day. Right.
That's
my
a
therapist immediately. It was-
fantastic question.
Yeah, you've got to be buying I don't know the answer except that you've got to buy something that is a wine that's ageable. So something like this you wouldn't buy to
Okay.
keep for 18
Is
months.
all wine not ageable? No.
Not young. Some wines are just better drunk fresh and young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what they are. But big reds, like your Super Tuscans, the big Bordeaux's, Burgundies, those sort of wines,
Mm-hmm.
you buy them this year. And plus, you've got to hope it's a good year, and
Okay.
then they're going to age. So
Okay.
it's a difficult one because you're basically relying
So
on
he
the
didn't
fact-
mess up too bad.
He
It's
didn't
not
mess
like
up.
it's
not
It's
his
not
fault.
his fault.
Okay.
But
It's
it's
not
a
his
hard
fault.
one, you know.
Now, the anchovy, I can taste it. It's very subtle, though. How
Yeah.
are we getting that, like, subtle anchovy flavour? You melt them all down before?
I melt them all down before, and I use a bit of the. See, it says buttery. I didn't put too much butter because I use the anchovy oil. So if you don't want it too fishy, use a bit of the oil and maybe a bit less anchovy. But I think it's just cook them down. That's the thing, to cook them out a bit.
And then the recipe calls for bucatini, but you've gone for tagliatelle. Would this just work with any pasta? Is there any pastas that are no-goes?
No, I think it would work really well with bucatini as well. But because we have a fantastic actress, Kaya, in the studio, I thought I'd make you fresh pasta. And even though this is very simple ingredients, cavolo nero, there's a richness with the garlic, the anchovy, and the butter. So in a way, you want a pasta that can hold that richness. So anything a bit thicker, like
A chunky
pappardelle,
guy.
tagliatelle, bucatini is perfect for it as well.
That is so good. If you want to try this recipe, all the ingredients and the recipe are all on waitrose.com/dish recipes.
I love pasta. I love carbs. It just
same.
made me so happy.
Yeah.
So is there a big difference between salted versus unsalted butter? Because every time I go to the supermarket, I inevitably buy the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I just go with it.
Yeah.
Can you just go with it? Or
I think to a degree you can go with it. I think as long as whatever you're cooking, there's a balance of salt. You don't want anything so overly seasoned that that's all you have in your mouth. And if after you're eating something, because in a way you've got to be careful. I see why they've put unsalted in here, because the anchovies, because they're naturally salty, and you've got parmesan. So you don't need as much salt in butter. But certain things, I think if you're cooking steak, salted butter is better because it just browns off better. But then you would watch how much salt you put on your steak. It's a balance, like everything in life.
Let's talk about some of your co-stars, because some real legends in there.
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones, Ray Winstone, the lads.
The lads.
The
the
lads.
teddy bears.
Yeah.
Are they?
They're all teddy
I was going to say,
bears.
what are they like when the camera's off?
Vinny's very funny in that if he was sat here right now, he'd terrify you.
Would he?
And then you'd shout cut and he'd go, all right, everyone want to go? Lovely. It's a character. He puts on a character. And Ray is... I mean, the biggest pleasure of that job was probably getting to work with Ray.
Really? And did you met Ray before?
Never met him. I'd worked with his daughter, Jamie. Love Jamie.
Yeah.
And... yeah, he's incredible at what he does. He's a fine actor. And he was just the cuddliest, loveliest person, but also allowed me to stretch myself as an actor. I love that. Like, I want to be challenged. I don't ever want to feel like, oh, I've got this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always
And
want to
do you still feel like that? Do you still feel like going
always
there like, oh God, I'm acting?
I have huge imposter syndrome. I think that's being
Right.
British, right?
Yeah.
We're told, don't get too cocky.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
And I'm very socially awkward and quite shy, and I still, on the first day of set, will be like, ooh, and then realise I've been doing it for 17 years. And I probably
it's
have
okay.
more experience than a lot of people there. And Ray was really good at helping me step into that. He was very good at helping me. He really grew my confidence. Where
Oh,
he'd
that's
say,
so nice
go
to
on,
hear
kid,
that.
just go for it. And
Oh,
I was
that is
okay,
so nice to hear. All right, Ray.
Yeah.
Did you have that, Ange, when you were starting out in the kitchen? Did you have someone to be like, here you go, here's how you do it?
bit different.
Or they're like, can do it right.
There was a lot of that, but there was also
A lot of
moments that you had absolute kindness from Gordon. That was that's why you stick with someone like Gordon for so long. He sort of will, show you that side that you think, oh my God. But then there's absolute genuine care, and he loves and he wants you to do well. And the reason is, like he is sometimes, is his frustration with you. But no, him and Marcus really nurtured me. I wouldn't be here without him, of course. So sorry, you said you started acting at 14 and you didn't train. How did you fall into that?
So my school up the road in Finsbury Park had a fax. This is how long ago it was. The school got a fax saying they had open auditions for this show called Skins. And they wanted teenagers, but they wanted actual teenagers. They didn't want to do what the Americans had done for a long time, which was have 25-year-olds or in Greece, like
John
32-year-olds.
Travolta. Jesus Christ.
And so I wanted to just see what it looked like. So I went after school and stood outside the building just watching the queue of teenagers going in. So the creator of Skins, Brian Elsley, came outside for a cigarette, and he saw me across the road, and I guess I just sort of looked like what he had envisioned for that character. And he came over and he said, do you want to come in and audition? And I was like, okay. And I did, and I remember it being a really great experience, but thinking this doesn't happen to people like me. You have to have a family that's really well connected, or you have to be English, and I never felt English. And it happened. I got the part on Skins, and that part grew over time. And I was lucky enough to then get a US agent and work over in the US quite a lot. And it was a weird sort of right place, right time. But it was always a passion.
I mean, I love stories like that because slightly surreal that it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no,
you
not
just
at all.
happened to be working there. You were standing outside,
I was just there.
but it was meant to happen in a way. That's brilliant.
And I remember that Brazil were playing in the World Cup, and I had my Brazil shirt under my school uniform. And I'd opened it up to be like, I'm Brazilian. And it was a funny coincidence and a funny thing. And it, I'd moved to that school 6 months before because I was bullied so badly at my previous school that I'd had to leave. And I'd only been there for 6 months, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends.
Sure.
And I just went on my own to kind of stand and look at what I thought was cool, which my friends would not have found cool. They would have been like, acting. What's wrong with you?
But you said you had no confidence, but there was something in you that drove you to it.
I knew that it was where I needed to be. me, maybe. I needed to go see it and feel
But it's
it.
the tenacity that you obviously have now in your work. As you say, you want to grow. This is what
Yeah.
you wanted for the role of Susie Glass.
Yeah.
You didn't want it to just be someone who took what everyone else said.
No, I mean,
so-
for me,
Yeah.
people ask like, "Oh, you like playing strong women?" I have never met a woman who isn't strong. I just find it realistic.
Yeah,
You know, I've just never met a two-dimensional woman. I've never come across that in my
Yeah.
experience, so I don't see why I should accept playing that character.
Yeah.
It's just not
She only
real.
exists in films.
Yeah,
Like,
every woman I've
you're
met
so
is
right.
complicated and vulnerable and crazy and kind and everything in between. So I will never accept that anything other than that should be portrayed in a character. It's
Yeah.
just not realistic.
Yeah. Yes. Come on, Kaya.
Brilliant. We love it.
So
Brilliant.
true. We come to the end of the show question. If you do good on this question, Kaya, you will win the Waitrose goodie bag.
I hear glass
It's good.
clanking
It's
and
good.
I'm happy.
It's so good.
The bag for life alone.
The bag for life is good. You've got loads of good stuff in there.
Loads of stuff.
Anyway,
Genuinely, I was going to go do my weekly shop after this, so
no,
I'm
so
very
you're
happy.
sorted now. There you
Yeah.
go. Shout out to
Was it-
Waitrose
is it-
Holloway Road. Your end of show question, Kaya, is this to win the goodie bag. After starring in The Gentleman, how well do you know these gentlemen? 3 questions for you. Let's see how well you do.
Oh, I'm sweating. Can I have
Vinnie-
more wine first?
Yeah, get the
Hang
wine,
on.
get the wine.
Yes,
Go on,
you
top
got
up the
enough.
wine, top up the
Okay.
wine,
Yeah.
top up the
Thank
wine. Come on,
you.
come on.
All right, go on.
By the way, Kaya's last day of press. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Come on.
well done.
Come on.
Congratulations.
The best way to
Come on,
end
the
it.
best way to
Brilliant.
end it. Here we go, here we go.
Okay.
Had to cheers that. Had to cheers that. Vinnie Jones played professional football for years prior to acting. But can you name one
Newcastle.
team? Boom.
Well, no, it's not.
No, he played for Newcastle United, didn't he?
No.
Did he?
Wimbledon
No.
was his big one.
Oh,
shit.
Wimbledon. Oh, I just said yeah.
Yeah, but I said it with so much confidence.
You did, I
did.
believed you. I was like,
Nick
correct.
was nearly false.
Next up, what star sign? This is too hard.
What?
Yeah.
What star sign is Ray Winstone?
He's giving Pisces.
He is a Pisces! Come on!
Yeah.
He is a Pisces!
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Finally, what is Guy Ritchie's middle name?
Lad.
You win.
It's Guy Lad Ritchie. It's unfortunately Stuart, but lad works.
Lad works. That's better.
I
That's
think the
better.
goodie bag has to be
Definitely,
Kaya's because
it's
that was
yours.
Thank
a
you
fantastic.
very much.
Make sure you watch The Gentleman. And a round of applause for our guest, Kaya Scodelario. Thank you, Kaya. That was so fun.
You're
So
amazing.
much
You're
fun.